Wicked.
Wicked, Witch of the West.
Haven't seen it.
Not even the play?
I've seen the play.
Okay, so you know an idea.
Is it the same?
It's the same.
But with Ariana Grande?
Ariana Grande. Here's the thing. When I went into this movie, first off, all the women in my life bought tickets to go see Wicked.
Okay.
I didn't get an invite. Then a friend dropped out. So I got a last-minute ticket. And then I literally cried.
You did.
I straight up cried.
It was that good.
It was insane. I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about it right now because it was actually so well done.
Wow.
And Ariana Grande, I think this is like she was made to play this role.
Okay. The reason why we're here is because there are claims online that it doesn't use CGI. That is false, but kind of not.
That's why I think this is super interesting to talk about. First off, Josh, do you know the difference between special effects and visual effects?
Explain to me.
Special effects are effects that are used practically on set.
Mm-hmm.
And visual effects are effects that are used like in post-production, in the editing.
All right, I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
They use a lot of wires to fly.
Yes, they do.
Is that a special effect or a visual effect?
Okay, maybe you got me there. I think it's a visual effect. It's a mix of both. Would it not be?
Special effect, but then you need to remove the wires.
Yeah.
That is a visual effect.
Okay, there's a lot of TikToks and videos that are like, they didn't use CGI in Wicked. There's no CGI. And that isn't true. Okay.
Wait, is there any times when they use like magic dust, sparklage, something like that, like particle animations?
Ariana Grande flies in a bubble, and the bubble is clearly CGI. She's on a robot. Okay. I love that we're in Oz right now, too.
Yeah, we are. Ariana Grande's face. The other person's face.
Do
Ariana
whatever you
Grande
want.
in a bubble.
That was a great scene. When she came down, I was like, wow.
It does look pretty good.
I want to talk about how crazy the practical effects were.
I think it was a waste of money.
The budget was about $175 million.
I understand that they shot this practically because they wanted to. I'm on the side of they should have just used CGI.
Yeah. So John Chu wasn't afraid of the budget. The budget was afraid of him.
I feel like that's every director ever.
Probably.
We need
But
to go bigger.
I know, but I don't know.
100 million.
I don't know if it's his vision or if it was
Hollywood sign burning.
his set designer, because he hired Nathan Crawley, who was the set designer for Interstellar. When I guess him and John Chu had a meeting, they basically said, I want everything to be as practical as you can because
Right.
I want it to feel immersive. I want it to feel like, you're there, you're experiencing this, okay? And it wasn't just the set design that took this in, okay?
Okay.
They sung live on set. Like the songs,
I respect that.
because they wanted to almost
lot.
pay ode to the people who did it on Broadway for 8 days straight or whatever. Like, was it wasteful? That is
Yes.
the question.
Not the singing live. That's cool. You didn't have to plant 9 million tulips.
Okay, Nathan Crawley, set designer for Interstellar, said this. He said, I planted 500 acres of cornfields in Canada for Interstellar. I think I can plant 9 million tulips.
What did they use the cornfields for after?
That's a great question because they drove through them with a car. So, I don't know.
Oh, you're right.
Maybe they harvested the corn and the farmers sold it off. I don't know. But it's crazy. They did this. They planted 9 million of these tulips. And the opening shot of Oz is of Munchkin Land is over this hill. And then they built a Munchkin Land. And it wasn't like Grinch Who Stole Christmas where everything was made of styrofoam. It's like a literal Munchkin Land. They built a city, a town, okay? And it looks fucking sick. They also built the university, which is called Shiz University.
Okay.
They built the entire university. And they built all of Oz, which is this emerald city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So they built 3 full sets. All of this stuff was practical.
What did they look like today?
Okay, this is a great question. I wasn't able to find out what Emerald City looks like today. I do know that that Shiz University was built on a backlot, and unfortunately, I do not think it's there anymore.
Okay.
So they sold or did something with that. I don't know. It's not there. But I did find this. The tulips were actually planted in a tulip farm
Okay.
in Norfolk, UK.
Wait, so they were planted in a tulip farm and then transplanted.
No. They planted them at a tulip farm and built Munchkin Land inside that tulip farm. So as much as immediately you're coming in here, 9 million tulips is wasteful as hell.
It is.
They planted them at a tulip farm that
is.
already existed, okay, already existed. They did a different area where they planted the tulips. They built Munchkin Land in that tulip farm.
Okay.
All right. Are you still thinking this is wasteful?
Yeah.
Okay, great. They are now opening it to the public as of next year. Now we know the 9 million tulips are now a tourist spot.
Yeah.
And the Munchkin Land is a tourist spot, which is also sick. Shiz University, not a tourist spot because it's probably gone. Oz, which was so beautiful, also probably not a tourist spot because I don't know if it's...
It was on a back lot, no?
I think it was on a back lot. So the other big thing that I have seen about this, okay, which I for sure thought was CGI in the movie. And this whole time I'm looking for CGI. I'm looking for the LED wall. I'm looking for, what the green screen spot. There wasn't a heck of a lot. But at this point, I thought there was. So in the movie, there is this, there's a time where Alphaba gets invited to finally visit Oz. He's on this train platform and this train rolls up. This gargantuan train, you can show it. It's crazy. This big green train, massive. It has all of these like golden gears at the front of the train.
Wow, that's
Look at this.
Very cool.
This train rolls up, okay? Rolls up. You got everyone standing on the platform here. You got this big train. It rolls up. There's a field in the background, okay?
Okay.
Alphaba gets on. I'm like, wow, this is crazy how much green screen's being used. There's a BTS shot I saw with the real train. And a tiny little blue screen behind Alphaba on the platform.
Okay.
Which means the platform was real, the field was real, and the train was real. So I did some research. Turns out the train is 100% real and weighs 16 tons, 35,000 pounds.
Okay, so here's the question. Why not just make a model?
See, that's a great question. I guess.
And that's not me being smug. That's an honest question.
No.
Why not just make a model?
See? Look at this. This train is real.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That is so crazy. I mean, why didn't they just make it? All the yellow brick roads were real roads. Like, I mean, so much of this could have been scale models. Like,
all the yellow brick roads were real?
Yeah. Everything was real. They wanted that mise en scène.
Yeah.
Who knows? The budget was, 150 million. So
I just think we've gotten to the point in our budgets where the sticker shock we don't have sticker shock anymore because we have Disney TV shows that are $100 million per season, which is insane. We have Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, $400 million a season. That is an obscene amount of money. And the reason why those are expensive is because of the crazy VFX that they do in things like making dragons. I don't understand why they wouldn't just go to CG. The CG itself wouldn't be that complicated.
I see what you're saying. But I also think there's an element of this has been a musical, a play that's been done for years. It has done Broadway for multiple years in a row. It has toured around the entire world. It has had, tons of different cast and crew go along with it. And it is something where if they were going to make a musical into a movie, it has to feel like you're watching that musical. It has to be so similar. I know, budget aside, I get it. But this is something where name a musical that you've ever seen live that's been turned into a movie that's actually been impressive, that actually has made you feel that same way as you did when you saw it live.
Les Mis.
That movie, you felt the movie was as good as you saw it live?
I love that movie. Russell Crowe?
I think Hairspray is the best musical that's ever been made.
Hairspray is great. I appreciate what you're saying is if they think that the performance was going to be better because everything was practical, then that's their justification for doing everything practical. If there wasn't a change in performance, we don't know if that would have been. But one thing that virtual production shows us is that when the actors can actually see the environment that they're interacting with, they can act better.
That's a good point. That's a great point. I agree to your point where they could have built half or a third of this set and then put it in an LED volume and then, it would have been easier. It would have looked pretty good, I think.
Right.
But obviously there's an element of making it feel as immersive and real true life as possible. And maybe John Chu going to take that risk with CGI. He wanted to do it practically.
Actually, hold on. Was the last movie he did Now You See Me Too?
Oh, actually, I think it might have been.
Okay, because Now You See Me Too, the CGI in that movie is not great.
Oh, really?
Okay? Ocean's 11 meets Harry Potter or some shit. I don't know. Maybe pull up the reviews for Now You See Me Part 2.
Not as good as the first one, but wasn't terrible.
Okay. John Chu was like, hey, there was a lot of green and blue on this last one. You know, Now You See Me Too. Maybe let's just do it all practically so that I can confirm it looks great.
That is, very well put. And I think the interesting side of it is it was clearly a gamble to do that. But I'm guessing, Hollywood being Hollywood knew what their market was. They were like, you know what? We're going to spend 150 million or whatever it was to, make this grandiose movie.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it back.
How did they do in the opening weekend, by the way?
Opening weekend, they did in US and Canada, they did 112 million. Okay. Gross worldwide at 170 million US. So they've already made their money back on the budget, which is crazy.
And also, low-key, Hollywood needed a win.
Yeah.
All right. We've had some terrible box office numbers recently.
Yeah, and some terrible movies.
Some terrible shows, some terrible movies. Needed a win.
And you know what? Who would have thought that star was going to be Ariana Grande? Josh is going to see it this weekend.
You might have convinced me that they needed to do it practically. You might have. I haven't seen it yet, but if there are so many VFX in this fully practical movie, no CGI, then you might as well just go all the way. Was there flying monkeys?
There were flying monkeys.
Yeah.
Okay, the flying monkeys were for sure added in afterwards. Okay, for sure.
Was there particle? Was there steam effect?
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't some guy just standing on the side like.
But when Elphaba was flying around, she was in like a.
Sorry, she was flying around.
Yeah, but she was actually flying around.
Okay, I get it.
All the BTS said that they knew it was going to be a dangerous set, and they all took the risk because they wanted to feel as real as possible. In the musical, she's flying. Elphaba's literally in the air, right?
If that's the reasoning, if it's like we will get a better performance guaranteed if we do everything practical, all right.
And they were singing while doing it.
Good for
you. They were singing while in these harnesses that were lifting them up and floating them around. They were still singing.
I'm singing while I'm ending this podcast.